This is Simon here from ULink. Today we're going to be interviewing Northern Ireland Youth International goalkeeper Mason Munn. Mason is one of the top prospects coming through in local football at the moment, tipped to go across the water and tipped for a massive future both internationally and with his club. So we're really looking forward to speaking with Mason and hearing what he has to say and about his journey so far and what his goals are going forward into the future. Northern Ireland Youth International, one of the top prospects in the country. We're excited to hear about your journey so far.
Yep.
When did you start? When did you first start being a goalkeeper?
So I started when I was 6 at Villa, home club in Milan. So I started there when I was 6 and played there for about 7 seasons. So obviously I'm still very young. Didn't really know what I was going to become or be, but I knew my dad was a goalkeeper and I always wanted to be a goalkeeper. So started at Villa basically, yeah.
And did you ever play out at all? Did you even dabble playing out, or was it always just pair of gloves on because you saw what your dad was doing and he was your hero type thing?
Yeah, basically what he says. My dad was always a keeper. He's always a keeper, and just straight from the start, gloves straight on. And, I was a keeper, and my dad sort of just thought, I think I want him to be at, and I went on to definitely enjoy being a goalkeeper. So,
well, what a goalie your dad was too. Obviously, won a lot of stuff as a football player. A local legend, I would probably say, down and around Abbey Villa, from what I know. It must have been good to have a role model like that growing up, where he did set the standards so high.
Yeah, it was definitely helped a lot, because when you're younger, you don't really have that. Especially at Abbey Villa, you wouldn't really have that specialist coaching in goalkeeping. So it was definitely good to have him there to help me when I was definitely younger, just the basics of being a goalkeeper. And he captained Abbey Villa for 16 years, I think it was. So he was definitely loved the club, and he played there for a long time. So
brilliant. Well, I remember actually him and his brother played as well, didn't they? Played together.
Yeah. So he has a twin brother. So they're twins, and they played in the same team for years and years, and they loved playing for Abbey Villa. He was a midfielder, I'd say, but yeah. And then as soon as my dad retired, he became captain then. So definitely left a good legacy.
And how does he transitioned into football? Like watching you every game. I see him all the games. What sort of influence is he upon you in regards to, would he give you advice, or would he sort of let you run your own course?
He definitely gives me advice, but he definitely likes me to make my own decisions. He doesn't like to put too much pressure on me. He just likes to make sure I go and enjoy it first and foremost, and then speak about anything that I want to speak about. I just go to him if I have any problems, really. He doesn't really come to me. I think that's better. I think now parents try to get too involved, and then their kids maybe feel too much pressure and then don't perform. But I definitely enjoy that part of it. Definitely like the fact that he lets me just go and enjoy it, and then if I have any problems, I just go to him and he helps as much as he can.
And do you actually feel that's probably taken a lot of pressure off you, because, like you say, maybe some of your colleagues, some of your teammates maybe wouldn't have the same sort of environment growing up in regards to their parents maybe putting pressure on them. Do you think it's made it easier for you to transition sort of from youth football into international football?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that, because I think as well, when you're in youth football, you're still young. You don't really think about what's coming next. Whereas when you get into senior football, and you're always thinking about the season ahead, or the next game, or where you're going to finish in the league, or how you're going to do. So it's there's a lot to think about. Whereas when you're young, you just go and enjoy it. But I think when you get older, you still have to enjoy it to the most you can, really, until when you have to knuckle down then and focus on the games.
So, I mean, growing up in Milan, watching your dad play, away from that there, who was your goalkeeping heroes in the game?
I've always had one main one. Recently, I've also had another one come into it, but Jan Oblak from Atletico Madrid. He was always my hero growing up to watch him. I loved watching him, loved the way he played. He was a captain. I like being a leader in the dressing room as well. So I definitely liked all the qualities he brought. But recently as well, Ederson's sort of come into it because of the way the game's changed now. You have to be so good with your feet. So I love watching Ederson and try to be, not like him, but I try to take parts of his game and put it into mine. So,
will you have that sort of metronome technique that Ederson would have, where it's just repeatedly over and over again? Is that something that you put extra practice on away from the training ground, or has that just come naturally to you?
I think it's definitely a lot of practice. You you don't. It doesn't just come to you naturally. Some people have natural talent, but you still have to practice on it, or you just won't improve. Or just stay at one level. But definitely, it's one of them things where I've practiced enough, but probably not enough to get really good. If that makes sense. I've practiced to get to a certain level where I am now, but I still can't stop. I need to keep going because the game's always improving and evolving. You need to be really good with your feet. Now you basically have to be a centre midfielder with the ball at your feet. So you have to do two jobs now. And I think I feel bad for goalkeepers now growing up. Definitely ones younger than me, because it's not just about kicking the ball out the net anymore. It's about everything. You have to be able to play. You have to be a leader at the back. You have to make saves. So there's a lot into the game now for a goalkeeper.
And so, in regards to that, you put in the practice in the training ground. What do you do to avoid getting nervous or sort of letting emotions come into your game that may affect it negatively?
It's impossible to stop nerves. If you're nervous, it's just one of them things. I can remember the first game of the Victory Shield against Wales, and it was my first proper international game. I've been on a few trips, but it was my first one where I was getting the cap for it. And you definitely feel it on the way to the game. We're coming from the hotel and we're on the team bus, and on the way to the game, you can definitely feel the pressure building. You're thinking, what are you going to do in the game? And just everything, you don't want to do anything wrong. And I think this is a really big learning curve for me, because in the game, we actually made a mistake against Wales for the first goal, and they scored and we got punished. And at half time, we went in the change room and you sort of feel bad. You feel like it's your fault. But then you have to look at your teammates and go, can you help me? Can you pull me out of this situation? And you just have to focus on them. First half's gone now, it's history. You can't change the start, you can only change the ending. So as soon as it happens, you have to just regroup, go again and try and make a save and make up for your mistake.
See, because obviously you're the very beginning of your career. Yeah. And I noticed you touched on there, you don't want to make a mistake going into a game. Where it's the best thing, the one thing that I would put across to yourself as an old man at the very end of it, to somebody so young to yourself, is it's actually, see, training is like the hardest part of your week. That's the bit that is the hardest. The match is the time where you get to go and enjoy yourself, Mason. You know what I mean? That's where you get to go and show off, and you get to go and do all that other stuff. It's kind of, that's where I was sort of asking it in regard about nerves and stuff like that. Like what would be your coping mechanisms for that there, or have you noticed them at all? What stuff you like to do to sort of make yourself feel more at ease?
Yeah, well, definitely in my warm up, I wouldn't rush it. I take it really slow, and I make sure I'm catching the ball well, and I'm concentrated and ready for the game. So I take it slow. I'll take my breaks, and when I get my breaks, I definitely enjoy it, because when you're working hard, you're not really focusing on the game. If that makes sense. You're sort of just in the moment. But when you have time to think, I feel like you think too much, you overthink it.
100%.
But when you're in and you're working, you're not thinking about anything. You're just thinking about making the save or doing the next thing. So I feel like that's definitely a way I cope with it. Just going into the warm-up, getting it done, get in, get your shirt on, and get out, and get ready for the game.
So, I mean, not everybody gets to play international football. You're standing there out with the team, national anthem belting out as you're about to play in a big game. What's going through your head then and there?
Proud, really proud. Are
you looking into the crowd?
Yeah, well, at Seaview that time when we played Wales in the first game, there was actually quite a bigger crowd than I think most of both teams expected. And I definitely, you could feel the team was nervous, I was nervous, but when the national anthem come on, you enjoy it. Just make sure you enjoy it, because you don't know when it's going to stop, and you're not going to be able to play international, or you maybe don't pick for the next squad, and just enjoy it when you're in it, and definitely just make the most of everything, really.
Absolutely. So is that what motivates you to continually get better? The fact that you've been there, I mean, that is the pinnacle of somebody of your age, whenever you're representing your country at your age group. Is that what makes you want to work harder in order to progress through the different age groups, with a view of, obviously, every footballer's dream within Northern Ireland is to play for Northern Ireland at Windsor Park in a World Cup qualifier, or to go away to a major tournament? Is that what gets you up in the morning to try and continually improve?
Definitely. I agree, because I think as well, most kids now are like, just the first thing you think about is getting a contract across the water, and this is what everyone wakes up for. But also you have to remember where you're from, and where you started, and definitely, yeah, getting up in the morning, just that's all I think about football. So yeah.
And you obviously you're just coming out of the Glentoran Academy. Worked a lot with Elliot Morris. Has he had a big influence upon you in the development phase that you're currently in?
Definitely. I was hoping you were going to mention him because I definitely wanted to speak about him. No, Elliot's a great guy. Definitely, he's helped me a lot because I was at Abbeyville for them 7 years. Went to Ridgeway for a season, and then the Glens come in. Then so I was away to the Glens. So all my life I played Abbeyville. I was up a year. I'm 06, so I was playing 05. Then I went to Ridgeway. That was my first full season at 06. And we struggled as a team. But I thought in individual performance from me, I thought I'd done well. I thought it definitely helped the team in the league position. So then I went to the Grand Tour, made the move. Obviously, big move for a player in this country because the two biggest teams in this country are Glentoran and Linfield. So the move to one of them was definitely a big achievement. And then started off at the 05 team, so playing a year up. Played well that year, and then the season after we went to 04, so we played 2 years up. And then I think that's when I struggled. That's when it's sort of my career sort of went a wee bit downhill. I had a wee bit of a downhill patch where I was struggling. I didn't really have much confidence and I wasn't playing well. Because you're playing against 18, 19-year-olds. It was only 14, 15 at the time. So I definitely struggled through that stage. So then I moved back down to U6s, and then that's when Elliot sort of came in. He sort of came in, really helped me get back in confidence back, let me play at the U6s for a season. And then after that, moved into the 18s and had really confidence behind me, playing really well. And Elliot coaching me, getting me used to the pace of the ball. And then after 6 months, I was made my first appearance for the reserves. And it all came from Elliot, really, just getting me in around the first team, training with the first team, getting me that experience. So.
And do you think it was just because he's really pushed you to sort of expect more from yourself going forward? That is kind of one of the main facets that's really been a help to you?
Yeah, definitely. I think Elliot pushes you to your limits. He wants you to succeed and do well. So definitely, just self-belief's a big thing. Goalkeeping. Elliot's been there and done it, so he knows the ups and downs and he knows how to get through it. So definitely, his advice definitely helped. Brilliant.
So leading on, you've joined the Friction family in regards to your goalkeeping gloves. What makes you? What are the main attributes to the gloves that you think is going to help you going forward in your career?
Well, definitely to start anyway. I was at Asmir Begovic before I came to Friction, and they're a brilliant glove brand. I always thought Friction were good, but I never really Asmir and sort of see what happens and go from there. So I went to Asmir Begovic with them for one season, and then Friction sort of came back in for me, and I said, yeah, I'll go, because I had Eurosport there as well, had an offer, and I thought, I'll try them, I'll take samples, and I went and tried Friction, and they were top notch. They were really good gloves, and I thought, yeah, I'll go with them. So
awesome, mate. Now you're the poster boy at Friction.
Yeah.
So listen, mate. Fast forward 5 years. Where do you want to be?
In a full-time environment, definitely. I want to be full-time professional, playing week in, week out for whatever club it may be. Number one goalkeeper and being in contention for the Northern Ireland squad still. Definitely being in and around it, being picked and being recognised.
Oh, man. There's not a doubt in my mind that's going to come to fruition, because to me you've got a fantastic attitude, technical ability, and you've got people behind the scenes who are going to be able to help you in order to sort of get you to where you want to be. That's really all from me today, Mason.
Yep.
We wanted to have a chat with you today because obviously you're the next generation coming through, the next star coming out of Northern Ireland in our eyes, and it's just great to hear what goes on in your head and what your goals are and the background. So thanks very much for talking to us, mate.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me on.
No problem, Mason. Take care, mate.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.